All right, too often when we think of our health, we think of physical ailments, but our mental health is just as important. You may not know, but May is National Mental Health Month, and now is the perfect time to take a free anonymous screening for a variety of mental health disorders, including depression and anxiety. Christine Gorgas is the operations manager for the Gulf Coast Clinical Research Center. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
We were talking in the commercial break that for whatever reason, mental health, there is such a strong stereotype with it.
Correct.
But it's so huge in the United States. People like to talk about it when there's a big controversy or issue, but...
Exactly, and really what is really needed is a lot more education regarding mental health, regarding the signs and the symptoms, and empowerment of patients to know what they can do for themselves if they are experiencing these symptoms.
I think a lot of people, you know, we're going to be talking about the signs and symptoms, they may be a little embarrassed or ashamed to say, but if they realize how many people are dealing with this, I mean,
absolutely.
I'm assuming this is a lot of people in our
There
population.
are a lot of people that are suffering from this, and typically what we see is a lot of patients start seeking treatment when friends and family start becoming concerned and involved. So we always support friends and family talking with people about what they notice, what they're looking at as far as those symptoms. It's really getting that stigma away from it so that patients can understand and start seeking treatment.
So is that the goal of National Mental Health Month?
It really is. It's the time that we really want to put aside to raise awareness and education regarding signs and symptoms of depression and anxiety. There are hundreds of organizations across the United States, everything from hospitals to primary care physicians to clinical research facilities such as Gulf Coast, that are really participating in programs that help raise awareness, educate people, and really allow people to take anonymous screening assessments to really try and understand what they're feeling and what they're going through.
Well, we're going to go ahead and talk about some of the symptoms. Let's start with the depression first.
Okay.
So feelings of sadness. Let's talk about some
sadness.
of these.
A lot of the times when people think of depression, they get stuck on just that feeling of sadness. But both depression and anxiety have a number of emotional and physical symptoms that go along with these diagnoses. So the most common one is a feeling of sadness. And this isn't just I'm depressed about a particular situation. It really is an all-encompassing type of sadness that a lot of patients will tell us, I feel sad and I have no reason to feel that way. I come from a good home, I have a good family, I just feel sad. So that's one of the main symptoms. We also have symptoms such as loss of interest. The feeling that you have no motivation to go and be with friends and family, things you used to enjoy, that is a major symptom of depression. Then, of course, you have the feelings of guilt or worthlessness. There are feelings such as
Tension.
Exactly, thank you. Tension and restlessness. Then there are the physical symptoms, such as the sleep disturbance that comes along, trouble concentrating. We see a lot of patients that have a change in their appetite. They either are eating too much or they're just not eating at all anymore. The food has lost taste and flavor to them. And then, of course, there is the issue with types of suicidal thoughts. This is one that really has a stigma attached to it, that we really want people to understand that they need to vocalize when they're having these types of thoughts. They can be as active as thoughts of suicide and as passive as something as just a wish to fall asleep and just not wake up. So it affects people several different ways, but it is something that people really need to be able to understand and discuss.
Well, and when you look at some of those symptoms, I mean, how do you know when you're crossing that line where, you know, you were talking about lack of energy. Well, sometimes we all have a bit of lack of energy, or sometimes we all feel sad if there's a given situation. When does it cross that line where you say, okay, I need to do something about this?
It's really what we look at is it starting to impair your life? Is it starting to affect your relationships? Is it starting to affect you at work? Everyone goes through symptoms of these every once in a while. But when you're experiencing them daily for 2 or more weeks, you can't shake them, and they're really starting to affect your life, it's time to start really looking and get help.
I want to go to anxiety, make sure we get these in as well in our time. And I know they kind of go hand in hand sometimes too.
They do, and that's one of the big issues. Symptoms of anxiety and depression can really overlap. So that's why some of these screening tools are very important to get patients to really understand which ones are really experiencing.
If you have anxiety, I'm thinking that may lead to depression.
Absolutely, and depression can lead to anxiety. So it is something, that's why a lot of the medications themselves too have dual indications for both. But anxiety, you have that primary feeling of just dread. You're very anxious, you have that feeling like something bad's about to happen, trouble concentrating, that irritability or restlessness. Anxiety has a lot of physical symptoms that go along with it that patients have a tendency to overlook, such as stomach and GI upset. There's a lot of muscle tensions, headaches, back pains.
Makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah, but sometimes you may not link them.
You may not link them together. It may, oh, well, you know, it's just I'm getting older and these are the types of things. If you start having sleep disturbances and then a lot of cardiovascular issues, the pounding or the racing of the heart, the pressure in your chest, shortness of breath, sweating, all of those can be linked to anxiety and what people commonly refer to as anxiety attacks.
Okay. So here's the good news. There are help, there's lots of resources, a lot of different help. What would you encourage if somebody's sitting at home and saying, that's me?
It's really important for patients to educate themselves on these symptoms and be able to vocalize these symptoms to their primary care physician or to an organization such as us that's looking to help them. There are a lot of anonymous screening tools that are available online, and we have one on our website at GulfCoastClinicalResearch.com. You can go on, and the key here is it's an anonymous screening tool that leads you through the different symptoms of both anxiety and depression so that you can educate yourself and get familiar with those symptoms and really sit back and think, is this something that I am suffering with, and is this something that I may need to reach out?
The best news is you don't have to live like this.
No,
I mean, there is help available, and
absolutely. There's a lot of patients with both of these disorders do respond to medication. It depends on the severity of how you're experiencing those, how much of an impact they are having.
But the first step, figure out what it is that you want and get help. Seek the tools and the resources. Christine, I'm so glad that you were here this morning and are able to offer that hope, because I know a lot of people are dealing with this. So thank you, Christine.
Are. Yes.
All right, we look forward to having you back.
Thank you.